Speaking Task 1. You will be asked a question about a familiar topic. You will then have 15 seconds to prepare your response, and 45 seconds to speak.
Do you prefer traditional classroom learning over online courses? Provide specific examples to support your position.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Personally, I prefer traditional classroom learning over online courses. In a classroom, I can directly interact with my teachers and classmates. For instance, I can raise my hand and ask questions when I am confused about a topic. Additionally, I can participate in group discussions and learn from my peers. In online courses, this kind of real-time interaction is limited, and I may not receive immediate feedback or clarification. Furthermore, being in a physical classroom helps me stay focused and motivated to learn. It is easier for me to avoid distractions such as social media or other online activities. Overall, traditional classroom learning provides a more engaging and dynamic experience for me.
Speaking Task 2. You will read a short paragraph and then listen to a conversation between two people. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the conversation between two people.
Be kinda nice to be able to do that, huh?
No, actually, I don't think it's a good idea.
Why not?
Well, like the part about how it'll help students concentrate. I mean, maybe a little snack will help the person who's eating it, but the trouble is that it makes it hard for everyone else to concentrate, 'cause they have to listen to someone munching on chips, or biting into an apple, or crinkling paper wrappers.
I guess it can be kinda disruptive.
Yeah, it would interfere with everyone's concentration. You wouldn't be able to pay attention with all the noises going on.
Okay, I guess I have to agree with you on that. But what about her other reason? It would be nice to be able to have some fun at the end of the semester, right?
No, there's a problem with that too.
Why?
Well, I don't think it's appropriate to use class time for that kind of thing. I mean, the last classes are usually pretty important. That's when we do a lot of reviewing for final exams.
True.
If we use that time for that, we probably wouldn't have time to do as much reviewing, which means we wouldn't be as well prepared for exams.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
The man expresses his opinion about the proposal in the newspaper. Briefly summarize the proposal. Then state the man's opinion and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The proposal in the announcement suggests that the university should allow students to eat in the classroom. The man disagrees with this idea. He thinks that it would be difficult for students to concentrate if others are eating in class. The noises from munching on chips or biting into an apple would distract everyone and make it hard to pay attention. Moreover, the man believes that using class time for in-class parties would be inappropriate. He says that the last classes are usually important for reviewing material and preparing for final exams. If time is spent on parties, there would be less time for reviewing, which would affect students' preparedness for exams. Overall, the man opposes the proposal because he believes it would disrupt concentration and interfere with important class activities.
Speaking Task 3. You will read a short paragraph about an academic topic, then listen to a lecture about it. You will have 50 seconds to read the paragraph. After, you will get a question about what you read and heard. You will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. You have 50 seconds to read. Start reading after the beep. Now listen to the lecture.
I can't help but think of Clara Barton when this term comes up. Barton was a nurse during the American Civil War who disregarded her own safety in order to help others. At a time when most women were required to stay away from the front lines, she ventured onto active battlefields to provide medical care to the wounded soldiers. Often she was under direct fire and in great personal danger, but she always prioritized the needs of the soldiers even when it meant putting herself at risk. Similarly, we can also look at Mother Teresa as an example. She dedicated most of her life to serving the poor and sick people of Calcutta, India. She took care of lepers and HIV/AIDS patients, knowing there was no reward to be reaped from her actions. These sort of selfless actions epitomize the concept of altruism in its purest form, helping others without thought for oneself.
How do the examples given in the lecture illustrate the philosophical concept of altruism?
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
The examples of Clara Barton and Mother Teresa given in the lecture illustrate the concept of altruism because both individuals selflessly helped others without expecting anything in return. Clara Barton risked her own safety by providing medical care to wounded soldiers during the American Civil War, even going onto active battlefields. Similarly, Mother Teresa dedicated her life to serving the poor and sick in Calcutta, India, especially those with leprosy and HIV/AIDS. Neither of them sought any rewards or reciprocation for their actions. They acted purely out of a desire to help others and improve the well-being of their communities. These examples show that altruism is about prioritizing the needs and welfare of others above one's own, without any expectation of personal gain or reward.
You will listen to a lecture about an academic topic. After, you will get a question about what you heard. You will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and then 60 seconds to give it. Now listen to the lecture.
Today, we will discuss the role of operant conditioning in learning. Operant conditioning, a type of learning process, was coined by the behaviorist B.F. Skinner. It involves associating a voluntary behavior and a consequence. Maybe you've heard of positive and negative reinforcement and punishment, correct? Skinner believed in the power of reinforcements, both positive and negative, in shaping behavior. Positive reinforcement, for example, increases the likelihood of a behavior by adding a favorable consequence, like giving a dog a treat when it obeys a command. Negative reinforcement, on the other hand, increases behavior by removing an unfavorable consequence. For instance, turning off an annoying alarm when one wakes up in the morning. Punishments, both negative and positive, decrease the likelihood of a certain behavior. An example of negative punishment could be a child losing their video game privileges as a result of not doing their homework. On the other hand, adding extra chores could be an example of a positive punishment. Therefore, the key point to understand here is that operant conditioning can be an effective way of learning new behaviors.
What is operant conditioning and how is it used to shape behavior? Give examples from the lecture.
Prepare your response after the beep. Start speaking after the beep.
Operant conditioning is a type of learning process that was named by a psychologist called B.F. Skinner. It involves connecting a voluntary behavior with a consequence. There are different types of consequences that can be used, like positive and negative reinforcement, as well as punishment. Positive reinforcement is when we add something good after a behavior, like giving a dog a treat for obeying a command. Negative reinforcement is when we take away something bad after a behavior, like turning off an annoying alarm. Punishment is when we do something bad or take away something good to decrease a behavior. For example, a child losing video game privileges for not doing homework is a form of punishment. Operant conditioning is a good way to learn new behaviors because it connects actions with results.